friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and this is Wonderful Wednesday. This little weekly series on my YouTube channel offers a free tutorial for paper crafting fans, and we follow a little schedule. The first Wednesday of the month is the Tag of the Month tutorial, followed by the Banner of the Month tutorial, then the Birthday Card of the Month tutorial, and the Flower of the Month tutorial. The month of August is sunflowers and bees theme, so everything we're making uses either sunflowers and or bees. So this week we're making a beautiful birthday card for my oldest daughter. Her birthday is Tuesday, was yesterday, so clearly I'm working ahead, but barely. And we're gonna make this gorgeous bee-themed sunflower card. This is a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 card with just simple layers and matting and stitching, an embossed oval in the center made with Spellbinders Lush Leaves 3D embossing folder, a little stamped sentiment, handmade sunflowers, beautiful ribbon, some gold trim, Renee bouquets, sugar bee, and little bits of her honeycomb trim, and some mustard seeds. I've got a vintage button up here, burlap string, burlap trim on my die cut oval. And I just wanted to point out to you how fun it is to cut a shape with your embossed panels. It gives it a totally different look, and I like the way this turned out. It gives this square card softer edges and really lets these sunflowers shine. On the inside, it's very, very simple. I've got a panel up here. I've embossed just a piece of cardstock with a little bee embossing folder. And once I've written my message, I'm going to washi tape that in up there. I've got a gift card holder die cut with my gift card wallet die and designer papers, and then a little flower packet because my daughter is a gardener and she loves bees and she loves the outdoors and she loves flowers. So I think this card is really going to be something that she will enjoy. This is another little stamped sentiment from Spellbinders, have an amazing day. And that's what we're making. The material we're using, this is an older collection, but I think you can still find this. In fact, if you look up in the corner, there's a purchase link that will take you to a spot where you can still pick this up. This, if you're a bee lover, this collection is a must-have. Look at all these sweet little bees in here. And this is very heavy, high quality paper. It has a sort of a mica finish on some of the pages, and you get tons of it. I love this particular viney leaf. And then here's all these beautiful Queen Anne's lace with the bees. The back side is the navy. Then here we have these really pretty navy and taupe, and then on this side is the gray and the gold. So just wildflowers and bees. It doesn't get much better than that. Here's these sweet bees and a honeycomb, and these little bees, I don't know if you can see it, but they have a little laminate on them, so the wings sparkle, which is super cute. So this is just, I'm a bee lover, so the minute I saw this, I picked it up. Look at all these gorgeous beehives, floral wreaths. I mean, and look at these beautiful wildflowers here. You got a lot of pages of each pattern. Here's another little laminated bee. The one thing that these don't have, look at the daisy chain, so sweet. These papers do not have focal images, so you kind of have to create your own focal, or do what I did where you emboss a shape and then add just a simple sentiment and some flowers. But it's beautiful, beautiful paper. You can also pick up digital images online. Polly's Paper Studio has a bunch of really beautiful digital bee images. So this is the first stamp set. This is Tweet Sentiments. This is Spellbinders. It's older, but I think you can still get it. And then this is a brand new one. This just came out. This is part of their All Seasons collection, and this is All Seasons Sentiments. I love the font. And here is our Lush Leaves 3D embossing folder. So all I did was rub antique linen over the top, wet my cardstock, put it in here, ran it through my die cutting machine. Then when it came out, I sprayed it with a mica mist and lightly buffed it with that bundled sage, and die cut your circle before you emboss, because if you die cut after you emboss, it's going to flatten the image on you. Anyways, just a few tips. If you'd like to see how this card comes together, stick around because the tutorial comes up next. Thanks, friends. All right, friends, let's get started putting this pretty card together. To begin with, I cut two 5 1/4 by 8.5 inch panels of this pretty cream cardstock. I thought it looked so good with this collection. And then I overlapped the 5 1/4 inch ends with 1/4 inch score tape and joined them together, scored at 7 1/4 and 7 1/4, and that formed our little pocket, which I didn't even use gussets. I just simply glued it shut and lined this with the navy cardstock and this pretty Tell the Bees. I love this little touch of gold. This is just a little Spellbinder sentiment. I used my gift card die to cut out a gift card wallet and then dressed it up with a little fussy cut. This is an embossing die. This is from Daris, and I love bees, so when I saw it, I grabbed it and I just embossed this little note card, and I can write a little note in here, and then pretty flower seeds. So that's the inside. Very, very simple this time. So now I'm going to put this aside and we're going to go to work on the cover. I always like to create my cover off the card base, because then if you make a mistake, you haven't destroyed the whole card. So this begins with a 5 by 7 panel of navy cardstock, topped with a 4 7/8 by 6 7/8 of the cream, and I stitched this pretty designer paper. This is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I stitched it onto the cream and then glued that onto the navy. So that's our base. Now I'm going to come in with this beautiful gold trim. I just love the way this looks. And I'm going to put adhesive in the centers of my flowers to hold this in place. Because it's a see-through lace, I don't want to have a whole bunch of glue showing through. So I'm going to lay this on the left like this. And press it in place. And when I get finished, I'm going to give this a chance to set up. I'm going to come in and I'm going to wrap those ends around the back and seal them with tape. But right now we're just going to do that. It kind of wants to shimmy a little bit. So this is just another piece of this cream cardstock that I embossed with that 3D leaf embossing folder. And then I sprayed it with mica mist and used my glue to attach this burlap trim around the edge. I love to add texture. So we're going to put foam tape on the back of this because it's hard to, if I can find my scissors, we will. It's kind of late in the day on Sunday. I had some gardening chores to take care of this morning. I had to repot the hens and chicks and dig out a creeping juniper that had died. That's a job. And then repot our spearmint. So I was tired before I ever got in the studio this morning. I'd already put in a full day. And then my basil needed to be harvested. And I made a fresh batch of pesto. So that's been my day. It's been rather busy. All right, so this oval is going to go down right here, okay? Just like that. And I just love it. And then once I had sprayed it, I came in with Bundled Sage Oxide Distress ink and just very lightly touched a few places to bring out some of the veining and the detail. Now that that is set up, I'm simply going to wrap these ends around the top and seal them with just plain old Scotch tape. All right, now we're going to add our flowers. And these are more of those Heartfelt Creations sunflowers. And again, the tutorial for those will be next week. So I think I want this one. Just going to bring in my hot glue. And I'm going to add some foliage. And you'll get the tutorial on all of this next week. There we go. I think I want it like that when I do our Flower of the Month tutorial. And I made these in a bunch of different color palettes because I wanted to be able to use them with different paper collections. The centers are just a combination of little seed beads and prills that I kind of mixed up, a little custom mix. Okay. And when these dry, they are very, very sturdy. They're not at all fragile. And I just love them. I think they're beautiful. I think I'm just going to do 3 big ones on this. I like the way that looks. I made some little ones in case I wanted to use them. But I'm thinking, I kind of like this. This looks really good to me. I'm going to tuck some other little greenery in here just to add some fullness to my florals. These are made with Heartfelt Creations. I forget what it's called, something, I'll link it. I always put a linked supply list on my blog and then a link to my blog in the description box. And it's amazing. I feel like the leaves really add so much to a project like this. All right, so here's the basics all done. That was super simple. This is the sentiment that I showed you at the beginning. I stamped it in Cobalt Archival ink and then heat embossed it with clear embossing powder and matted it on a little bit of our gray cardstock. I've got foam tape on the back and I'm just going to tuck this in just like this. Then this is some Renee Bouquets. These are her elements. And these are the honeycomb, obviously. And I colored these up. These are left over from the banner I did last week. And I'm going to put my little sugar bee right there because I think he's so cute. All right. And then I've got another little piece of honeycomb that I'm just going to tuck in up here. And in that one, I'll add some mustard seeds probably. And I've got these gems, these Spellbinder gems. This color is Prism AB. It picks up on all the pretty blues. And I'm just going to scatter these around a little bit to add a little bit of bling. And the last thing we're going to do, believe it or not, this is a super quick tutorial this week, which is good because I have 2 birthdays this week, 2 family birthdays that I have to prep for. So, and this is the birthday card for my daughter. She's a gardener. She loves bees and flowers and all the things. I've got a little burlap bow. I'm going to stick in there. And once that glue sets, I'll get in there and fuss the bow a little bit. I have this vintage button. I'm trying to decide, do I want it up at the top? I think I'm going to tie another little burlap bow up here and then stick that beautiful vintage button up there. And that's going to be it. Add my little gems right here and glue it on the front of the card. All right, friends, there we are, all finished up. I added those little gems to the sentiment. I added a few mustard seeds up here into my honeycomb, and I took one crystal gem and put it on my leaf so it looks like a dewdrop. And that is it. And I'm going to show you a little trick. Sometimes it's a little hard when you have fabric to get those layers to really seal. So if you go to the Dollar Tree, you can find these little clamps. And you can use these to help force the edges right where that fabric is to seal up really well. And then once that dries, you're all finished. All right, guys, that's it for me, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial featuring sunflowers and bees. If you did, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Comment in the comment section below if you have questions or comments. I will try to get back to you. I usually answer all the comments. Sometimes it takes me a day or two, depending on how crazy busy it is around here, but I really value your input, so I try to make that a priority. And I'm going to clean up my mess and go fix supper for my husband, and you go get your craft on. Thanks for joining me, friends. Bye.